I'm not saying not to do your job. You're causing harm to the economy. I saw a video of ICE enforcement showing up to a concrete pour and taking all the concrete workers in the middle of a concrete pour. Do you understand the level of loss there? We're the only builders organization in South Texas to raise the flag, and I can even go to say that I have gotten death threats because of this.
Hi, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Rio Grande Valley Business Journal's podcast. I'm Naxi Lopez-Puente, and today we will be discussing the state of the construction industry here in the Rio Grande Valley. Joining us today is Mario Guerrero, the CEO of the South Texas Builders Association. Mario, thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy to have you on our podcast.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I greatly appreciate it.
For sure. So Mario, your association sounded the alarm a few months ago, right, on the immigration rates happening here in the construction industry.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to us about why you guys decided to do that.
I think in the beginning, and the motive is still the same today, is that overall, I think we all just want peace at our construction sites. I think we want to make sure that if people are working, is that we respect that, right? The motive has always been to keep peace. It has never been to be disrespectful or try and say that somebody shouldn't do their job. But unfortunately, in the Rio Grande Valley, because our organization does spread from Roma, Texas, all the way to SPI, we are all southern region of Texas. We are seeing an influx of immigration enforcement in our construction sites, where they are basically questioning everybody, and even people that do have proper documentation to be here and work legally are being taken in, and they are being told also that the documentation that they had gotten from the Biden administration does not count for this administration, which is kind of crazy because I think to myself, we're all under the law, right? We're all under the one government. And I don't believe that the government should change from one president to another, right?
Sure.
We all have a sound foundation, just like there is for a house, a sound foundation of what government is. So when you hear that, and you just don't hear it, you're getting calls from people that are actually going through it and telling you, hey, they just took my tío or they just took my dad, and they're telling him that his proper documentation that he has is not valid for this administration, which is, it's scary.
Mm-hmm. And so let me backtrack a little bit, right? Because we just jumped into the main issue, right?
We dug in the deep.
All right. So for our viewers who don't know what the South Texas Builders Association is, tell us what you guys do.
So the South Texas Builders Association was founded during one of the most, I would like to say, one of the scariest times that we've ever faced as a human race. At least in my time of living on this beautiful planet. It was actually formed during the time of COVID. And the reason that the South Texas Builders Association was formed is because a lot of doors were closed on us during COVID and we had nowhere to turn. So builders were facing crazy upcharges on material. If a builder was paying $8 an OSB sheet, it went all the way up to $64. Some people even saw the numbers of $70, and it would fluctuate between $50 up to $60, $65. That's one sheet. If a house takes 300, you could just imagine what that would do to a builder. We had builders that were losing hundreds of thousands of dollars during this time.
But why did COVID allow for that big upcharge or surge in price?
I believe that what happened is that the people that are at the mills creating this lumber, at the time, for a moment there, they were not considered essential workers. Mm-hmm. Just like it was, you were essential if you worked in the oil industry and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That caused a huge spike in price because
they didn't have the workforce.
Yes, ma'am. They didn't have the workforce to produce the product, and they didn't have the product to put out in the field.
Okay, all right.
So whatever product was on the field had to go up in price. Mm-hmm. That's insane. If you think about the upcharge it went, if you're paying $8 and it goes all the way to $60, that's crazy. It's over 100% increase.
Yeah.
And we had companies at the time, that were losing, like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We had a couple companies that lost millions of dollars. And there was nobody there for us. Nobody was there for us. There was no door that we could go to where they would say, hey, come in, we got you. We got some sort of direction that you can do. Nothing. So at the time, since we didn't have this, a group of people with Ronnie Cavazos, Efraín Gomez, Roel Moreno, Julio Carranza, and many others that were literally the founding fathers of this organization, they came with the idea that we all do the same thing. In the construction industry, there's nothing special other than the person running the company, but the construction's all the same. The difference is that everybody puts their own personal touch on the homes, right? Everybody builds foundations, everybody trenches foundations, raises the framing, goes ahead and puts electrical, all that good stuff, right? And they became friends. Growing up in the industry, it was never a thing that builders would be friends. Never. If anything, other organizations that do exist kind of kept us apart. And we were never told that, hey man, that guy does the same thing as you. Maybe he has some ideas that you can bounce off each other and create something great. It was never like that.
So that was the inspiration for creating the association.
It was the inspiration that we needed, and it's shown us that we are stronger together. That's why our slogan is, we build together, we are stronger together. Mm-hmm. Because what is to say that because of that, we are here today. And we're the only organization in South Texas. I would like to point this out. We're the only builders organization in South Texas to raise the flag on what's happening with immigration. We are the first, and I can even go to say that I have gotten death threats because of this. Nobody else is standing up for our industry. We are the only ones. Myself, my board, and my organization are the only ones that are actually at the front line. Everybody else that could possibly do something is now trying to jump on the bandwagon that we have built with death threats, with pain, with fear, because we believe what's happening is wrong.
And so, you guys did put out that video, right? Like I mentioned. When was that video put out?
And if I told you the date?
Maybe like November.
Yes,
November.
ma'am.
And but the issue started, way before that, right?
So yes, ma'am.
Talk to us about what you have seen, right? This starting from, when you started noticing the raids, when did the raids start, to what you are seeing today? Paint us a picture, right, for our viewers, for our readers, that don't have their ear to the ground.
So I would like to believe that the raids have been going on for about a year now, right?
Okay.
When they started, I obviously didn't think it was right. We had a bunch of builders in the organization that were raising the alarm about what was happening, but I didn't know how to raise concern for it. Because when you go against the system, you are not liked. Only people that see life like you through the same perspective are gonna be okay with what you're saying. I just got lucky that when I grabbed my chair after I saw a video of ICE enforcement showing up to a concrete pour and taking all the concrete workers in the middle of a concrete pour. Do you understand the level of loss there? Not just...
Talk to us about it.
Let me give you all an example. And this is coming from a builder. I'm a builder. I want to make that clear. I'm the executive director. I'm the CEO of the South Texas Builders Association. You have to trench. You have to put rebar. You have to do pest. You have to put lining. You have to pass inspection. You have to go through all these steps, and every step takes money. They start pouring concrete. There's rebar in there, all that good stuff. And they take everybody. What happens to the concrete? It goes bad. It's not like they can take it back and say, hey, we're going to remix this. So there's a loss there. What happens to all that rebar? It goes bad. You have to literally break that. You have to let it Imagine it's a trench. You got to let it sit and dry. Then you got to go in there, break it all, and pray to God that you don't break your rebar. Redo everything, lining, pests, everything. And the construction company was already in the whole $15,000. Then they have to come in another $15,000 just to try and do the same steps again. I understand that this has to be done.
Okay.
I understand that. I'm not saying not to do your job. What I'm saying is that you're causing harm to the economy. It's not about not doing your job. If you're making companies lose their profit, that's a zero, right? But what happens if that zero turns to a negative because they just lost another profit in another home? And then that negative turns to another negative because they just lost their project in another home.
Well, then they'll default on their loans and it'll affect other companies.
So they default on their loans because a lot of people, if you don't know this, a lot of the construction that is happening in the valley is literally happening on construction loans. If there's a default on a loan and it's a cycle that continues and continues and continues, what's going to happen to the bank?
Yeah, it's going to suffer.
It's going to suffer. And if there's no money revolving, the economy is going to suffer. And that's been my cry for help. And my cry for help maybe isn't the most popular one on the right, and maybe it ain't also the most popular one on the left. My stance has always been on the middle. I'm not red, I'm not blue. I ain't Republican, I ain't Democrat, and I sure don't want to play that game. I've learned that with this experience, I never want to be in politics, even though people are like, no, you're good, bro. I'm like, no, that's horrible, that's horrible.
It's it's a tricky game.
It's horrible. That's not the stance. The stance is, there's a better way to do this. There should be a better way to do this than you going to work sites and terrorizing communities. Because there's videos going out right now in Westaco. There was I don't even know how it could even be okay for a human being to think that they can do this. They're in a Dodge Durango, all black, and they decide to get on in a subdivision where there's families already living and there's a couple lots that are open, and they're speeding like, I don't want to exaggerate, they're going to be like, this guy's crazy, but let's just say they were going between 50 to 60 miles per hour in the subdivision.
Okay.
Yes.
And are we talking about law enforcement or?
No, it was ICE.
Okay.
No, it was ICE. It was ICE. No, they were going full speed, and I get it. You know, someone ran. You could see in the video, like somebody ran. But dude, you're in a vehicle, bro. Get there. You know, I'm sure you could tackle the guy, suplex him, put him in a Kimura. You know, do whatever you gotta do. What if a child was playing on that street?
Sure.
What if there was a child playing on that street? They just killed a mother yesterday in Minneapolis. We have a serious problem. That's a serious problem. What's going to be the line? And it's sad because that's not the country that you and I grew up in. I believe we're the best country in the world because we can have open dialogue. Somebody called me and told me, hey, I'm going to kill you because of what you're doing. I don't believe in what you're doing, and I don't believe that immigrants should be here. I think he's like, my life is where it's at today because immigrants took any possibility of me having a job. And I'm listening to this guy say, no, not one word. He's like, you don't want to fight me? You don't want to fight me? I was like, why would I fight you? I was like, you understand how blessed we are to live in the United States? Like, we get to have this conversation. I don't know who you are. I ended up talking to the guy for like 40 minutes. At the end, he was like, thank you for listening to me.
And the dialogue, right? The dialogue part is the important thing, right? And so that's why we're here today, right? To talk about the issues of the construction industry, right? We're going through rates, but it's not the only issue, right, that is affecting the Valley's industry when it comes to construction.
Yeah.
We've got tariffs, we've got expensive land, affordability issues.
We got shortage of labor, and we already had a shortage of labor, and that's a thing. Tariffs is not helping the price of what we're using to build these houses. Affordability of land, whether people understand this or not, land is just going to keep getting more expensive.
Well, they're not making any more of it.
It's a scarce product, right? So if you do want to live in the city, you got to be able to purchase land today in order to stay in the city, because everything's just going out. And that's what I tell people. Hey, I can't afford a lot in the middle of Edinburgh because they want $85,000 for the lot. I'm like, okay, what's your budget? Well, $60,000. All right, just go to the outskirts of Edinburgh. Everything is going to move out because everybody wants to live in the city, but there's a price point for everyone. I don't believe that affordability is a crisis. I believe that we need to be educated and understand what our price point is. Not everybody can afford a $300,000 home,
Sure.
and that's okay.
But what is the median price of a home here in the Rio Grande Valley?
I would like to say that the median price would have to be between $230,000 up to $270,000.
Sure. That's what we found out too when we were looking at the information, right?
Yeah.
I believe in Brownsville it's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Than it is on the Hidalgo County, Starr County side.
Yeah. That would be the median. But the thing is, we also have to look at the valley for what it does have in jobs. The valley is not known for industrial work. We're not known for refinery work. We don't have people here that are working in refineries that are making $100,000 a year. The valley is known for construction. And what else? What could we get? If you think about it.
I mean, agriculture,
Yeah.
obviously, retail.
But who works in agriculture?
Good question.
That's a question. I'm guaranteeing you not most Americans that we know are in agriculture. That's why I'm like, okay, what else? And the valley doesn't really have a lot other than the medical industry, the service industry, and the construction industry. Sure. And then you do have like your education and stuff like that. But I've had people are like, we have a shortage of labor. Well, yeah, you have a shortage of labor because you guys don't want to pay.
I mean, you do have those critics that say, hey, you guys are in this position because the builders or subcontractors went out there and hired people that are not legally authorized to work and maybe weren't paying fair wages. And now, that there has been this, approach to the enforcement. That's why you guys are suffering. How do you respond to critics that say that?
We have to be able to think in a broader term and understand that the system that we currently have has failed us. We live in a system that has programmed us to go to school, and after that, you go to college. The problem with that system is that you're not giving the kids an opportunity that may not be ready to go to college at 18 the chance to explore different avenues, which would be
the trade schools.
Your trade schools. But when I was, yes, ma'am.
We are seeing, though, a lot more schools in our area, right, pushing kids to that. And I think, society's kind of waking up, right? Because before you'd say, oh, why do you want to be a plumber? But plumbers make $100,000, or
Dude,
upwards.
I know plumbers that are driving Ferraris right now. I know electricians driving Ferraris. There is a demand for HVAC, plumbers, electricians. Look, granted, you don't want to work for it. If you don't want to work for it, then what makes you think that you deserve it? Nothing in this life that is worth anything is going to be given to you. You have to face resistance in order for the system to reward you with something. That's the reality of life. We live right now in a system that is broken. When I put out the video, I also stated that the system is broken. And I'm very proud to say that we're partnering up with RGV Lead, and you're gonna see that coming out soon. And it's not fake news. We're gonna be partnering up with RGV Lead, and we're gonna be making sure that these systems are implemented into high schools. We're the main sponsors. We're gonna have this big old meeting where we're inviting all sorts of Texas representatives in the education so that we can express that our system, think about it like this. Out of every 10 kids that go to college, out of every 10, there's only 4 that graduate college. Imagine that. So that means you're telling me that 6 out of 10 kids are potentially in debt. What are we doing to these children? What are we doing to our economy, right? We need to think about what we can do, one, to help the workforce,
Sure.
We need labor, and there's nothing wrong with it. I was raised in this industry, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I think if there's anything that you can do in this life, at least if I could do anything in this life, it's do what I'm doing right now. I'd be a builder. I have the pleasure of building someone's dream.
So what are the challenges with being a builder, aside from immigration? What are the other top 3 things that, if you had a magic wand, you would fix or...
I would buy a helicopter for sure. I need it right now because I'm going to Roma all the way to Bronzeville. I think that everyone's challenges are different, I think that everybody's...
But as an industry, though,
okay.
Obviously workforce,
Workforce for sure.
What about tariffs?
It's affecting the pricing of goods, for sure. It really is. But we've been dealing with that. You see, for some reason, the market's always on an up and down trend. And there's what I would like to believe, the construction industry and the oil industry always get hit hard. And for some reason, the agriculture industry always gets bailed out. It's like they have really good attorneys because those guys, nobody messes with those guys, right? But for some reason, the construction industry and the oil industry, we always get hit, right? And tariffs have affected the price of goods, which is it's making it harder for builders to build homes. Sure. That's another thing we're seeing. And now the whole immigration thing we're already dealing with the tariff strain, and then the immigration thing came in, and it was just like, dude, like when you put people against the wall and you hold them up against the wall and you're choking them, like that's how some people feel right now when they can't find trades. The prices of goods are increasing. Interest rates are also a little hard out there. It's all these things hitting people at once. And the reality is that most of these companies are trying to finish a product and hope to God that they get sold if it is a spec home so that you could just make another one. And pray to God that they didn't lose on that spec home with immigration or tariffs or all sorts of different things that could come at you during construction, and try to put the next money on the next lot. Like there's honestly not a lot of, like, when people, I've met people who are like, construction, there's all this money. Dude, there's not a lot of money in construction. There really isn't. You have to be in the construction industry as a builder at least a minimum of 10 years to really see money. But if not, you're just putting money back into land and trying to buy more acquisitions and trying to build a little bit more and trying to build a little bit more. But this is the way I view the pie.
Okay.
There's a big pie, and us as civilians, we get a little crumb. That's all we get. Whatever that crumb is, it's a fraction of what money there is in the world. So to me, it's like, why would the system make it harder to make a crumb?
And the outlook, right? Your association hosted an event just this morning called the 2026 Outlook, right?
Yes, ma'am. And it was packed.
What is the outlook?
And it was packed. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to be honest right here.
I hope so.
I was not in the meeting.
Okay.
I was not in the meeting, and the reason I wasn't in the meeting was because I was back and forth with Ms. De La Cruz's chief of staff. As you all know, we do have a meeting coming up on January 19th, and she will be there.
Okay.
Ms. De La Cruz will be there. Henry Cuellar will be there.
Is that open to the public? Is that just for
the
association?
it's open to the public. Hey, so look, we want to make sure, one, we got to make sure that everybody knows that this meeting on January 19th, which is going to be at the McAllen Convention Center.
Okay.
Number one, it's peace.
Okay.
We're coming for peace. This is it. We're going to limit people on time. If you want to speak, everybody gets a chance on the mic. We're going to give you 2 minutes.
Oh, you're going to have an open mic?
Well, that's how we did the first meeting. Were you there?
I was not.
Oh, dude. And it was crazy. It was crazy to witness because we put 200 chairs. And out of the 200 chairs, we had 380 that we counted, 380 something people. We had a sign-in list of 350 signatures that we have as a template. So my assistant printed it out, and I looked at the list, and I looked at the chairs. I was like, "There's too many." I looked at the chairs. I was like, "It's too many chairs." And my assistant's like, "We'll be all right, man. I mean, at least people will get to sit down. They'll have some space." There was 380 something people that showed up. It was insane. All the chairs were taken, and then there was people standing all around.
And are these people in the industry? Do you curious people, protesters?
Oh, we had all
A little
sorts.
bit of
Yes,
everything?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I cannot say that we
That
had.
was just industry.
I think it's because it's a topic that's really affecting a lot of people. There's obviously a lot of people in the real estate industry that are being affected, but then there's a lot of people that are not in the industry, just as your everyday family that's also being affected, right? We did have, we limit everybody to 2 minutes. We did an open mic for about, I think we did a 45-minute open mic.
Okay.
And everybody got.
You have to put a limit. If not, you're going to be there.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
day.
Yes, ma'am. In the beginning, it was an introduction of why we called this meeting. We let our board president, Mr. Ronnie Cavazos, give a speech. We also let our treasurer, Efrain Gomez, give a speech. They did a great job giving those speeches.
Same format for this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Happening January 19th.
January 19th at the McAllen Convention Center.
With Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz.
Miss Monica de la Cruz will be there. Henry Cuellar would be there, confirmed, and I can confirm that. I want to thank their Chief of Staff, Karen, for taking care of that for us. We're very grateful for that.
So what are you hearing from our representatives when it comes to this issue, right? Because, if you're following politics, right, Congresswoman de la Cruz is a Republican. Cuellar is a moderate Democrat.
Right.
And, to have both of them at the table.
It says a lot. I commend them. Think about that. You have two different parties that should be mortal enemies, as the media likes to put it, right?
Which, I mean, we could argue semantics here, right?
Right, but it's
we
crazy,
won't.
right?
We
It's
won't.
crazy. It's crazy that that's where we're at, right? And it's beautiful to see that two different parties can put their differences aside and say, you know what, we do actually have some sort of issue down there in the region. Now, when we did have, because we had a private meeting with Monica de la Cruz, it just happened. We actually, we got all the paperwork done for that. We got a real meeting that happened behind closed doors with her, and then we had media come as well. It just happened last week. Once again, thank you to Karen for putting that together. When we talked to her about our issues, she knew there was a problem, but she didn't know it was at the extent that it's at, right? And when we asked her certain questions like, should there be warrants that should be presented when people are showing up? Can they just bombard a place? There was a place in Harlingen where these guys threw like a chemical in there to see who they can get out of the house. It ruined the house. You can't sell that after that. And so it like all these things. But I see this like I see COVID. In COVID, there was a lot of questions, right? And there was a lot of fear. And within that fear, there was people doing crazy stuff. I think Vicente Gonzalez posted a picture like a lady like in a plastic bag with like all these crazy things, right?
I mean, people were wearing all sorts of things.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know the picture you're talking about. It was an Associated Press picture of the January 6th event when they were in Congress leaving, and I did see that picture posted recently, and
He posted it.
I saw the bag, and I was like, wow, we really did survive a crazy time.
Imagine that. Just imagine that. So in that time, we didn't know how to handle that. And that's what's happening today. And we also have to remember that our politicians are human. And we cannot come to politicians with anger, and we cannot come to them demanding stuff. We got to come to them with reason. And we have to be able to tell them the truth.
So what is the reasoning that you guys use to get their attention? To get them because, if you look at the Republican Party, a lot of the rhetoric was, well, immigrants are taking American jobs.
Right.
So what is it that you told Monica de la Cruz's office that, got them on board with
I think she
to be a voice for what's happening here in the industry, even though it might break a little bit with party lines?
I think Ms. De La Cruz's team saw the outcome that we had on November 17th, and they were like, hey, there's something going on down there. She covers a really narrow
fajita strip.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see that, right? You think about it like, man, whoever drew that up.
Districting, which is a whole other issue.
I'm like, dude, you're like,
won't get into
it's like this, and it's like they do it right for the camera, right? But it's like, you see that, and not just that, their travel schedule is so hectic. And that's why.
But what were the points? What is it? Were you saying like, look at how much we've lost as far as an industry?
To go ahead and get the meeting with her, or at the meeting?
Just in general. What is it that is swaying, or at least having her administration focus on this issue?
I think it is the economy. It's the economy. Like, you have to see the money revolve. Money has to revolve. If money is not revolving, the economy is not moving. The economy is a wheel. I am not an economist, and I am not a professional when it comes to economy, but I could tell you that we need to make sure that these loans that have been taken out from the banks are paid off. We don't have the workforce to supplement for the drastic amount of pickups that we've been seeing, and we let her know that. We're like, look, like this is the real issue. We had 20 different business owners show up to that meeting. They held us to only 20 people. They were like, we only want 20 business owners. You can select them. And I didn't select them. I gave the opportunity to the organization to pick who they wanted, and they this person, and they were very honest with her, and they told her, Monica, the industry is not gonna survive another year of this, because if you start having loans default, it's gonna really affect the banking system.
And when we're talking about loans, we're not talking about homeowners. We're talking about builders who take out loans to construct these subdivisions.
Yes, thank you for making
confusion, right, when we're talking about loans.
Because a lot of these builders, guys, like, they're building off construction loans, and they're building off the construction loan. They're putting the house on the market. And you know what's funny? I think it's funny when people are like, well, the builders can sell the house or whatever they want. That's also a misconception. It's not true.
Okay.
The builder has to stay into a guideline, right? So whenever they put a house on the market and before it goes into the bank for sale, let's say that they get a contract and somebody wants to buy it, they have to make sure it meets appraisal. That appraisal makes sure that builders are not price gouging. So there's no such thing as like, oh, when builders get to sell their houses, whatever they want. No, we get regulated by an appraiser. Sure. And that's everybody. That's why you see houses in a subdivision that are all sold within the same price. It's very rare that you see a house that's like $100,000 difference, But yeah, no.
And so, critics would say, well, there's so much inventory right now in the Valley. I mean, it's a buyer's market. This slowdown right now isn't really affecting much. I mean, there's inventory out there. How would you respond to those critics?
Buy it. Buy it. Buy it.
Buy the inventory.
Buy the inventory. If you got money in the bank to put on properties, buy it. Because properties are going to skyrocket. So that would be my advice. If you see that you have some money in the bank and you haven't used your FHA, or you have some sort of thing that you can do to put some money on a property, which would be like a rental property, or you can buy a home that you can rent out to somebody else, and maybe that family pays for that note, or whatever the case may be, do it.
And so actually during the event this morning, one of my reporters was there, and she told me that that some builders can't sell the homes and are actually renting them out instead of selling them.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, so just think about that. You have to resort to making sure, because when a builder gets a construction loan, as soon as they ask for a draw, they have to start paying interest on that loan, sure, right? So if there's a builder that's paying multiple, maybe $1,000 or $1,500, $2,000 on interest, over time, if you've already waited, let's say you've waited 3 months and you're paying $2,000 on interest on a house, that means that they're taking that out of your account. Sure. They have direct access to your account because it's the bank. They're gonna take $6,000 already, boom, $6,000 out, and you're not seeing anything come in because maybe nobody's gone to go see your house. You have to rent it. Mm-hmm. You have to rent it. It's still on the market, but it's being rented.
And now, on the other side, they're saying also that builders that want to build subdivisions are not getting those loans anymore because there's so much inventory out there that the bank is kind of like, I don't know that I want to lend out any more money to another builder when, all of these other builders already owe us money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, that was foreseen, right? The bank is always going to have to protect its own interests. The bank has to protect its own interest because they're taking a risk. It's all give and take. So it's a gamble. And as a builder, I can't knock on the bank for kind of being a little bit more cautious when it comes to that money, right? We got to be very careful because as a bank, you have to protect the economy. Our economies come through banks more than anything. We definitely don't want no bank run. We don't want that. That would be horrible. So they're already seeing that projects are taking a little longer than most. If it will take you 4 to 5 months to build a home, that's taking you 7 to 8 months now.
Is that because of the workforce?
Yeah. It's because of the workforce. Not because there's a lot of supply. Thank God, we're good with supply. It's not like COVID. So it's weird now. Now there's a lot of supply, but not a workforce. As opposed to like there was a workforce, but there was no supply, right? So it kind of like flipped on us, right? So we're seeing that, but I mean, you can't look at the bank and be like, well, they don't want. No, the bank has to protect the best interests of the people, you know?
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
The Port of Brownsville is leading the way for economic progress and stability in the Rio Grande Valley. As chairman of the Brownsville Navigation District, I'm proud to share the tremendous impact our port continues to deliver, not just for our region, but for the entire state of Texas. Since 1936, change at the Port of Brownsville has been constant. However, a few things remain the same. Our dedication to our stakeholders and communities, and creating opportunities. According to our latest economic impact study in 2023, the Port of Brownsville contributed more than $12 billion to the Texas economy, a 400% increase from 2019. The Port of Brownsville supports more than 10,000 jobs locally, generating $1.1 billion for our local economy. The numbers confirm what we already knew. The Port of Brownsville is a powerful economic engine. And this is more than just a port. This is power in motion. And we're just getting started.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much. So we were continuing with our conversation on the state of construction.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what else can you tell me? What's going on here?
Man, I lost my train of thought. I know that the last topic that we were on was the whole banking and how you said that there was somebody at the meeting and that they had heard that the banks don't want to lend out money for development and whatnot. But that should have been foreseen. You know, you cannot expect for a bank to want to risk the $5 million investment, $1 million investment, whatever it is. It could be $500,000 investment, and see how it's slowed down, right? So, I totally understand where the bank is coming from, and I wish I would have known that you had somebody at the meeting. You guys are sneaky.
Of course we would. Hey, we're the business journal.
Well
we're
then,
everywhere.
well, I'll tell you this. You ask her what I said to that meeting because I went ahead and because it's one of those things where, and you can ask her, but you know, raising awareness should not be something that people should be afraid of. You know, I really believe that you should be able to have every ounce of confidence to speak your voice that God gave you, especially in the best country in the world. We live in the best country in the world. Look what we're doing. We're having dialogue, and you can bounce ideas off me, and I do the same.
And you know, we spoke about this earlier because we as journalists had been hearing early on, right, beginning in June, that these raids were happening, that they were affecting construction companies. And I know because we kept trying to talk to contractors and organizations to give us, right, the comments, to give us the information. And a lot of people were really tight-lipped and they didn't want to speak out about it because obviously it carries the negative connotation that, hey, we're hiring people that are not supposed to be working, right? But yeah, you guys, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, your association really rang the bell. And
the thing is, look, nobody should have any fear in their heart to speak for whatever they believe to be true in their perspective.
Freedom of speech.
You should be able to express yourself. We live in a country that's our God-given right to be an American citizen. You being an American citizen, you should be able to voice your opinion. Now, I voiced my opinion that I thought that what's happening is wrong, and I believe that there's probably, if not hundreds, thousands of people that say, no, dude, you're wrong. And that's okay. I am no one to fight with anybody. Who am I to tell anybody, no, dude, I'm right and you're wrong? No. First, I don't have time. Today, it is 3:05 and I have not ate breakfast.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Like, I don't have time to even know what's going on. I have a team that controls my social medias. I don't even know. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we should respect each other's point of views. And we should be able to have dialogue with each other and be able to bounce these things, because what would our world be if we were not able to? And what I believe is that social media has taken that from us. It's taken the ability to have a conversation, which is the most important thing. You and I don't know each other. You and me are complete strangers. I don't know you and you don't know me. But, okay.
But, and if I could just be a devil's advocate here, sure, conversation is great, but conversation without action, where does that leave you, right? Like the dialogue is great, but, you know, what do you see the chances of, you know, this whole situation either coming to a stop, coming to a solution? I mean, I know that Congresswoman De La Cruz has proposed some new legislation, right? But how easy or difficult is it going to get, or is it going to be to get not just from, you know, talking about it to some actual results?
I think the first step is raising the concern, which we've done that.
Sure.
The action is honestly on the ground. I mean, just today there was action on it, then yesterday there was action on it. There has not been any day since November 17th that has not had action. There's action from the South Texas Builders Association.
Is that when you released the video?
No, November 17th is when we had the meeting.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
meeting. Got it.
My personal life has not been the same since that meeting. It has not been the same. I've been able to make some great relationships with our congresswomen, great relationships with Henry Cuellar, Vicente Gonzalez. I'm gonna meet the lady that is running for governor tomorrow, Ms. Gina Hinojosa. James Tellerico is coming on my podcast. My life has not been the same.
Has it been worth it?
It's been more than worth it. And I hope I never did this for any glorification. I did this because I honestly thought it was wrong what was happening. I just hope that, you know, I got a death threat yesterday and I got a death threat this morning. I got an email also this afternoon of somebody saying that, like, you know, they wish that I die and that they wish that I shut up about this thing and all this stuff. And you know, you think about these things and you know, our politicians go through that, right? And I'm not a politician. I'm just a civilian that is raising awareness to an issue that is affecting our economy, right? You want me to read you a letter that we got?
Oh gosh, I want to say yes, but if it's too crazy, we may edit it out.
You
but
can
go
decide.
ahead.
So check this out. This came in the mail from the District of Columbia. That means it's Washington, D.C., for the people
Sure.
that don't know that. Check this out.
Not from the country of Colombia.
No, the District of Columbia. It says, Ronnie Cavazos, board president of the South Texas Builders Association. Quotation. This is something that he said on November 17th. Business is down significantly. If we continue on this trajectory, we will see a lot of business fail. Followed by the message sent by somebody out of Washington, D.C. Tough shit, Ronnie. Texas voted 96% for Trump. Trump carried almost every county in your area except for 2. Your people wanted Trump, and you got him. It is certainly entertaining to watch him.
Okay, we're going to have to beep a lot of this.
Over, you deserve it. Looking forward to both businesses and personal bankruptcies for many of you and you Trump supporters. And I don't think that people like you You get a letter like that in the mail, and my first reaction is like, who has time?
That sentiment.
You know, like, what the heck? Like, how did you, like, you really thought that we're going to get this letter and be like, oh my God. No, dude, like, first, who has time? And second, I feel sorry that you feel like you have to say something like that. But
he's not the only one. There are so many people out there that are saying this because our area, I mean, this person is not wrong when our area really switched to the Republican
yes, ma'am.
administration,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
And we're kind of seeing the effects of that.
Think about what our area saw in the Democratic. We saw an influx of immigrants that we had never seen before. We saw an extreme amount of influx of immigrants we had never seen before. Our borders were clogged with thousands of people. But you know what's funny is that those people didn't stay in the valley.
They did not.
And yet again, people think they did because they're misinformed. We saw an administration that looked weak, right? And then you have this businessman that shows up, is like, I'm gonna fix everything. I'm gonna make it all better, and I'm gonna make the economy great. We were in a declined economy already. We really were. We were in the
Well,
so
let's not deviate too much into the political world because we could be here forever.
this guy's like, I like this guy.
Let's focus on the construction industry. You know, there's realtors, right, that say what prices. There's plenty of construction. There's plenty of like injection of new revenue.
Excuse me.
How do you respond to that?
I love realtors. I think that if you're not gonna go to college, get your real estate license early. 18 years old, get it. You can do it. Takes about 2 months. I think everyone should have it. Realtors are always gonna have something to sell. Think about it. There's always land you can sell. There's always somebody's home you can sell, and there's always new construction. And they can represent somebody. So if you know I'm a realtor, and you're like, hey, I want to go buy something, I got you. Don't worry about it. That's what it is. The realtor will always have work, but the problem is that being a good realtor, because nowadays we live in the age of social media. So if you're tall, blonde, blue-eyed, with heels, and you do the social media right, you have possibility you're gonna make a lot of money because you're marketing yourself right. If you're tall, dark, handsome, whatever, you're gonna make a lot of money because people are gonna look at you and they're gonna judge you by appearance. And they don't know if you know anything or not, but if you can talk and you can put a contract together on zip forms, you could represent them.
And so that workforce, what is the word? The gap, right, that we have right now in workforce. How is that translating to delays in construction?
It's correlating 100%.
How much? So if give me an example. Paint me a picture.
If a house would take 4 to 5 months, a basic 2,000 square foot home, you're looking at a 1,600 square feet living home with let's just say 1,500 square foot home that's living, 500 on the garage, on the garage space. That's a 2,000 square foot home total.
Sure.
And let's say that was taking you, which is a very basic house, was taking you 3 months, right? It's a small home. Mm-hmm. You can, deck it out with your finishes and stuff.
Sure.
3 months.
Just basic.
Just
basic,
2,000. Sure. The basic 1,500.
Starter home.
Starter home. 3 months, right? Let's say. I think that now is probably going to take about double, which would be 6 months, and God willing that it doesn't take 7 months, right? Mm-hmm.
And so what does that do aside from, you have to wait for your home longer? Does that drive the price up?
No. Well, remember, guys, it does not drive price of homes up because homes are regulated by appraisals.
Okay.
So that's not a thing, and that's a misconception that people have. No, it doesn't do that. What happens is that it delays the time that a bank gets paid. It delays the time that a builder gets paid in order to turn that money around and potentially buy another lot or maybe buy 2 lots. It delays that time. So if there's a house, let's just say, right now there's an influx of inventory. But I'm gonna ask you a question. If you never bought a house before, would you rather buy a new house or a used house?
I actually have never bought a home.
Okay, so since you've never bought a home, would you
Uh-huh.
prefer your first home to be a new home or an old or a used home?
I'm really, I love to play the devil's advocate, so I could argue for both.
Okay.
My husband hates that, by the way.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I would argue that, a home that's already been built, the ins and outs, right? Does it flood? Does it, versus a new home in a new subdivision where you don't have any of that information? I don't know. That's kind of where my mind is.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Would I love a new home? Absolutely.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Join.
So let's say you've never bought a home, and I'm the one that's I'm a broker,
Sure.
right? I have my own brokerage. So let's, like I said, I'm not a paper boy. I really do this. You come to me, and I'm gonna tell you, okay, you were approved for $300,000. There's all these houses that are available on the market that are pre-owned homes. Mm-hmm. They're built 2012, 2014, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
Then you have all these new houses on the market that are in your price range, and they're maybe done out of Hebel, spray foam insulation. They might have it's probably a smart home where you can control everything off with iPad and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's in your price range, right? Mm-hmm. When you start seeing all these things and you're like, well, why wouldn't I buy the new one, right? Mm-hmm. Why would I go back in time, right? Materials are only getting better. Materials that our houses are being built with are only getting better. They're becoming more energy efficient. What is the name of the game? You got to save $1 somewhere.
Sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. And what kills us? Electricity, water.
Cooling.
What?
Cooling the home.
The other day, my wife was like, I just paid $300 something on AC. I was like, what? I was like, you're barely letting me know. I was about to go to sleep. I was like, you're barely letting me know this right now. Like, thanks a lot. I was like, what happened,
In
right?
the winter
I was like,
months?
what? It's like, oh, it's because we were running the AC all day or whatever. I don't care, man. I mean, that's home. But what I'm saying is, like, don't ever skim yourself of a purchase of a new home because the materials are only getting better. The houses are only getting better. That will potentially save you a couple $1,000s in, bills and stuff like that.
Sure.
But that's what I always tell my clients. I always tell them, don't ever think, well, it's because I would know. No, like, think about vehicles. Vehicles only get better.
Well,
Let me play devil's advocate.
I know. I have a 2004 GMC truck, and it is heavy. It's the material, right? You don't see that in trucks nowadays.
Yeah.
Type of, so yeah, it doesn't always work that way. But all of this
You're talking
rounded-
about like you feel like it was built better, right?
Yeah. The material, you hit my truck and it's gonna hurt your car before.
They hit your truck, you're hitting a train, right? Like it's built out of metal, right?
Yeah.
It's not like aluminum or carbon fiber, whatever they're using nowadays.
All of this roundabout way to say what? Buy new versus old, or what is it that what's your point?
My advice would be, if you are in the market to purchase a home, look at the materials that these homes are being built with. You as the buyer have every right to ask, hey, is this foam? Is the exterior foam? They're stuck with that. So ask about the material. Is it exterior with the Hebel? Is the exterior foam? Is the foam insulation across the house? What does the house come with? What kind of windows were used? There's different grades of windows. There's good windows just like there's bad windows. Mm-hmm. The same with everything, just like there's a good table, So always look at the material and do your research. What material is best energy efficient? That's it. There's nothing different than just the material, because the material can. Have you ever been like in a place and you're like, man, I can feel the heat from outside? Mm-hmm. It's a material. It's just not good material. Mm-hmm. So my advice would be, if you're purchasing a home, go ahead and just ask what material was used. You can always ask for a material list from a builder. They'll give you the list, and then you can go and do your research and find out how the energy efficiency is on that material.
Okay, perfect. All right.
She's gonna go buy a home now.
I might just hold off on that right now. In any case, it is a buyer's market, though.
It is a buyer's market. It is, you could get whatever you want right now. I'll take the arena.
Well, this has been a great conversation. Anything else that you would like to add that maybe I didn't ask?
No, I just want to say thank you to you for the invitation. I really appreciate it. It's the first time I'm actually on a podcast that's not my podcast. So I want to say thank you to that. And thank you for not being afraid to bring this topic into the light. We really appreciate that as an organization. I do want to say thank you to all our representatives that have been very vocal with the issue that we have at hand. I want to say thank you to all the mayors, especially Mr. Omar that did attend the meeting, Mr. Ramiro Garza as well. We have great leaders in this community, and I just want to say thank you to them. And remember, guys, like, we all have a voice. Whether you agree with what I'm saying or not, it doesn't matter. We should be able to come together and have dialogue just like we had dialogue today. And don't be afraid to use it, because it's honestly the only thing that you really have in this life, right? So I just want to say thank you to you again, and I want to say thank you to all our elected officials that have been super supportive over all of this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mario. We really
Thank you, ma'am.
appreciate it. We had a very lively discussion, but for those of you at home or at work listening to us, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.